Welcome to the Hope for the Journey podcast, a weekday wellness tips program presented by Dr. Denise Marie, Third Order Carmelite. Dr. Denise is a professionally qualified clinical psychologist, health and wellness professor and coach, counselor, plus medicinal herbs educator. Each Hope for the Journey podcast features a well-being key from Dr. Denise, helping you meet your self-care needs for living well. Listener discretion is advised because this and other Hope for the Journey episodes may contain discussions surrounding behavioral health problems and other actual potentially triggering topics.
Greetings and best wishes to all of our show listeners today. And I welcome you to the second kids episode of Hope for the Journey. I am really hoping that you are having a good day today. Now, I am your host, Miss Ann, because our regular presenter, Dr. Denise, is taking a few days off from her full schedule to rest a bit, and good for her. So I am speaking to you today with the recording help of the all-volunteer radio crew at Fort Wise Kingdom School, which is where I work part-time to assist all the oomphs who do their studies there every weekday. And for those of you who haven't heard of Fort Wise Kingdom School, it is located in the one and only village with the name Lively HART Land. And for those of you who haven't heard of the oomphs, they are a small group of 11 special needs orphans who are not fully like other residents in Lively Heartland. So for today's kids show, you will hear about my meeting with one of these 11 oomphs, about our discussion which I call SHUN Only When Needed, an emotional self-care key for living well. Today's topic is about the oomph named Shun, who does not want to go on the required Fort Wise Kingdom School trip to the zoo. If he doesn't attend, he will lose the credit he needs to pass his science class. Of course, Shun is normally undesiring of a lot of things, because that is simply the way his emotional nature works. Shun has a special energy that moves its heart to avoid and feel turned off by something not so good. One of the behaviors he favors is to cross his arms in front of him and shake his head from side to side, meaning no is his answer. He is not at all like the one of his brother oomphs in particular. That other brother oomph ordinarily longs for so many things of life. So on the day of the school trip, it was 8 o'clock in the morning when I, Miss Ann, arrived in the hallway outside my office at Fort Wise Kingdom School. I was surprised to find Shun quietly sitting on the floor with his back leaning against the door of my guidance counseling office. So I began to talk to him.
Hello, Shun. Did you know that the door to the red travel bus outside is now open and ready to have our science class students get on board for the zoo trip?
Miss Ann.
So you still have a few minutes to get your things together and join the rest of your classmates getting on the bus.
I get that, Miss Ann.
Then what is your plan, Shun?
I am staying here, Miss Ann.
You mean you are not going out to follow the others onto the red trip bus?
That's it, Miss Ann.
Do you have another way of getting to the zoo, Shun?
No, because I'm not going to the zoo, Miss Ann.
Is this why you're here by my door this morning, Shun?
Well, partly. Much earlier this morning, each of my siblings was trying to figure out a way to get me to be with them on the zoo trip. I told them I didn't want to go at all, and that my plan was to stay in our school library and catch up with the really hard homework assignments that I couldn't bring myself to do yet. Then, when I arrived here a little while ago, all the other surrounded me and told me that you had important things to say to me. So, here I am at your doorstep, and my brother promised that as long as I spoke to you, they wouldn't carry me onto the zoo trip bus.
Well, thank you for giving me a bit of information, Shun, about your placing yourself right at my office door before my appointments begin at 9 a.m.
No problem, Miss Anne.
It is best that you rise up now, Shun, plus follow me into my office as I'm unlocking the door, and take a seat right where I will point.
Yes, Miss Anne.
Okay then. Now that we're sitting down and facing each other in a better way for a conversation, I have a question for you.
Okay, Miss Anne.
Would you be able to share any reasons why you are not on your way to the zoo with your classmates?
Well, my brothers told me that I needed to tell you about something that happened to me 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so what was that?
I was bitten by a big mosquito in the monkey tent during the end of summer circus here at Lively Heartland.
Really? How bad was the bite?
My upper arm was swollen, the size of an onion around the bite spot. And since then, I have been leaping back from any flying insect at all, even jumping from flying insects that don't bite, including lightning bugs.
I'm very sorry to hear of this injury, Shun, and about what's happening in your reactions to other flying insects.
Thank you, Miss Anne.
Though, do you have anything else to tell me that could help me better understand the connection of the big mosquito bite to the school zoo trip?
Yes, I do have more to say, Miss Anne. That things have gotten worse, Miss Anne. Lately, I have started really fast running away from any bird, whether it's a bird in the air or on the ground.
Really? This is truly more of your avoiding things that I have ever known in your regular behavior, different from your usual self, Shun.
Well, I don't think it's worth it to place myself around any creature with wings because of what it might unexpectedly do to me. And there are a lot of creatures with wings at the zoo that my classmates are going to meet today.
I get it, Shun. Yet, I am concerned that your unpleasant memory of being mosquito bitten is already resulting in many unneeded effects on your freedom of movement. For example, distancing you from animals that would not be biting you, from your family and friends, plus putting you at risk for not passing the science class you need.
I'm seeing things more clearly now, Miss Anne.
That's good, Shun.
But I'm a more easy target because I am an oomph. And as a result, I am short in height. So it's harder for me to move away quickly when a flying thing is tailing me. Especially when I find myself on my own without any valuable nearby social support.
I understand what you mean, Shun, but I do think you can learn other more excellent ways to address what happened with the big mosquito bite. Better, more realistic and effective actions than becoming an overactive runner away from any creature with wings. You know, even your fitness class teacher here has her lovely bird cage with those 2 nice parakeets living inside.
You're right. I hadn't thought of that, Miss Anne. And I do need exercise to help me stay healthy.
You certainly do need to be yourself and move around freely the way you used to. I am glad you're getting the bigger picture here, Shun.
Me too. I only want to shun things when I need to, and not be avoiding things when I don't even need to.
That's the spirit. That's the Shun I know well. Good for you. How would you like me and our fitness teacher next door to sing your lifestyle song? To remind you of what you're usually like when you are not switched on overdrive, running away from things unnecessarily.
Yes, please, go ahead, Miss Anne. I'm all for it now. Let my song begin. 1, 2, 3, go! Oh, Shun does not want, no, it is turned off from things that do not feel pleasing. It moves far away from what's not wanted. Oh, Shun is undesiring. Shun moves away. It doesn't want what's unpleasing. It puts out its hands against false, ugly, bad. Shun, it says strongly, no way. Right on. This is the me I want regularly to be. That way I could be anywhere, even at the zoo, and not running full speed away from a pleasant, friendly, and pretty parrot in a cage. A good parrot who has no plans to bite me, but only wants to talk while I am standing outside nearby.
So, Shun, with this type of goal in mind, what would you say to an invitation to meet me back here in 3 days at 2:50 in the afternoon to continue working with you to get your emotional operations back in balance?
I accept the invitation and look forward to seeing you again, Miss Anne. Thank you for understanding what I've been facing. Even though I am missing the school trip today, I know I will get another chance to visit the zoo when the time is right.
And I'll write up an absent note, Shun, for you to give to your science teacher. Rest assured that all will be well.
Then there you have it, Podcast Kids episode listeners. This is still Miss Ann speaking. And after all the talk today, I wonder how you would feel about doing some normal moving around of your own. Some after-school exercise with music that moves your emotional motors toward getting more physically mobile. The music video I recommend using for this exercise time is called I've Got a Big God. It shows a fun band of movers and shakers named the Flizbins. And you can find this I've Got a Big God video on YouTube using the link I provide first in the description of today's podcast video. Plus, besides spending a bit of exercise time with Flizbin friends, parents tuning in here can even check out other wellness helps we feature in our Hope for the Journey podcast resource center, located on Instagram at Cause for Hope. And to finish things up this evening, I wanted to tell you that it has been a blessing to have been invited by Dr. Denise to host this podcast for you today on the important quest to shun only when needed, which is an emotional self-care key for you too. Not to let being injured unexpectedly get you to a place where you start avoiding things that remind you of the injury a little or even a lot. So, God's best to you of continued hope for the journey of emotional well-being.
The Hope for the Journey program airs weekday evenings from 7:45 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Instagram and YouTube. Dr. Denise thanks you for listening to her Community Wellness podcast and wishes you to keep in mind that there is cause for hope of more well-being.